Hello everybody and welcome to free UFC bet picks. All right, so we watched the weigh-ins and the stare downs for the upcoming fights this weekend on Saturday. UFC Vegas 13, Santos versus Teixeira. It's looking like a really exciting card here. We have a 30-second breakdown for each fight, all the bets you need, so let's go.
Yep, remember to smash the like Kamzat, tap the sub like Justin Gaethje, turn on notifications so you get your bell rung like Johnny Walker, maybe Jimmy Manoa, and comment. Let us know if you agree or disagree. Comment like you're Connor.
Yeah. All right, let's get right into it here.
Sorry, I forgot. We got to thank the Packers. We got to thank the GOAT. We hit a plus 9,000 parlay last night, like a 0.1 unit to win 9 units. Thanks to Devontae Adams. Thanks to Marquez Valdes-Scantling. Thanks to the terrible Packers defense for allowing the garbage time touchdown. So we hit the over. Can't resist mentioning that, our IG followers know we were pretty hyped about that yesterday.
Yeah, it's pretty nerve-wracking right there at the end.
Yeah.
Trying to get those points.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into our first fight of the night. We've got Gustavo Lopez and Anthony Burchak. Burchak came in as the favorite here, but we had Lopez. Money's been rolling in for him, and now it's a total pick-em fight. So what are you thinking about this one? Any thoughts after the weigh-ins?
So the weigh-ins were interesting, pretty uneventful. Overall, the weigh-ins were rather uneventful. Everyone made weight. So these guys both made weight. They were both pros. We told you, we were messaging these guys asking them if they were going to make weight, more elegantly and gracefully than that. But, everyone thought Burchak didn't have a fight lined up and that he was coming in on super short notice. No, he told us he was going to be fighting in a tournament this Saturday with 205ers. So he was ready. He was already sharp as a tack, he said. Gustavo said he only missed weight against Merab because it was short notice and he had to cut 20 pounds in like 17 hours. We were messaging with Kambache Americas, the folks at Kambache. We were messaging these guys' former opponents, getting their insight. We're feeling really good about the Gustavo pick. At this point, by the time the fight starts, Gustavo's going to be a big favorite, like he should have always been. So I think Gustavo's amazing DraftKings value. There's not a lot of prop bets out right now, so we don't have much insight on that, but I think it's likely to go to decision. I think the leg kicks for Gustavo are going to win, so if you wanted to get tricky with the prop, I think Gustavo by decision, but overall, I think he's a great DraftKings play because it's going to be high volume.
Yep. All right, next up, we've got Max Griffin and Hermes Brahimage. Another underdog pick for us, one of many of the night. You still feeling the same way about this one after the weigh-ins?
Yep. In another situation, you don't want to get overly caught up on line movement. You don't cash tickets by beating the line. You cash tickets by being right. But it does feel good that money's been coming in on Brahimage as well. I think the odds makers have Brahimage going by decision. At first glance, you think, hey, he's going to submit Griffin, right? Which is likely. But, I could see him just winning a nice, tough battle, kind of like a Bryce Mitchell type of win from recently. So the Brahimage by sub is actually plus 500, while Brahimage by decision is like plus 300. So, it's a little tricky there when it gets to the props. I think Brahimage is a wonderful DFS play. Brahimage by sub at plus 500 is pretty good. But yeah, we're still liking Brahimage. I think he's a safe bet. Really good value.
Yeah, definitely. All right, next is the biggest favorite of the card, at least in the prelims, Giga Chikadze, and he is facing Jamie Simmons. So any insight the weigh-ins give you here?
Yeah, Jamie Simmons is not even a true 145er. He should be fighting at 135. His last fight, he fought at like 142 or something. He was the person who had the most trouble making weight today. He needed the box. So he was just a quarter pound over with, after using the box, he made weight. But he didn't look that great. And, we're super confident in Giga. We think Giga inside the distance is a decent play. It's like minus 170, so that's kind of the recommendation after the weigh-ins. You think Giga typically wins decisions. I think he's going to put on a show and finish this guy.
Yeah. All right, our next one is Darren Elkins versus Eduardo Garagori. Anything jumping out at you after this weigh-in?
Yeah, so Garagori was huge. He's supposed to be like 1 inch shorter than Elkins. I had Elkins at 5'10", I think, if I recall, and Garagori at 5'9", and Garagori looked huge, and it wasn't a situation of, one of them, 5'10" and 5'9", and Garagori looked like 6 foot if Elkins is 5'10", so kind of nervous about that. We like Elkins' wrestling advantage. Garagori cannot stay up. But I would start leaning towards a pass on this one. Garagori looked like a monster, and we know that Elkins gets cut. The chance of this fight being stopped due to a cut is significant. So it's starting to feel like a pass after seeing them stare each other down today.
Yeah. All right, next up in the people's main event, we've got Alexander Romanov versus Marcos Rogerio de Lima. How did they look at weigh-ins?
Yeah, rather uneventful, kind of a mellow stare down. Rogerio de Lima continues to get in worse and worse shape. This is a former 205er who used to be shredded. He didn't want to make the weight anymore, and he's just adding on more and more weight. We were all over Romanov. We were getting Romanov money line at minus 250-ish. Now, inside the distance, he's minus 290. We said that this line was going to move. By fight time, he might be like minus 400. I think he already is minus 400 now. He might be minus 550 or something by Saturday night. So, Romanov's just the safest parlay pick. It's kind of tough now. The value has started to go away. I'll tell you this. At this point, Romanov by decision at plus 850-ish starts to feel decent. Everyone thinks Romanov's going to finish him in the first round, but the last couple Romanov fights have gone to the second round. Rogerio de Lima is a big dude. I think don't get too tricky. Just parlay Rogerio. I'm sorry. Don't. Well, please do. Everyone, go put your money on Rogerio de Lima and give us some of this juice back. Move the line for us, please. But no, just parlay Romanov. Don't get too tricky. Never dismiss the value of getting your money back with a little bit of interest.
Yeah. All right. One of our closest fights of the night, we have Trevin Giles versus Bevan Lewis. We were hoping these guys would make the choice a little easier with the weigh-ins. Any such luck there?
No, you're exactly right. We were hoping that one of them would struggle making weight, mean as that sounds. But, they both made weight just fine. Giles is never like the most shredded fighter, but he looked a little more defined in his midsection than normal. He's never pudgy, but you can see a little bit more abs on him than normal. Bevan Lewis had more of a height advantage than we kind of anticipated. We knew he'd have some height advantage, but... So they both look good. Still kind of feels like something of a pass. The under 2.5 at plus 160, these guys do gas halfway through the fight. That's how Giles lost his last two, his last two losses came because he was winning and then gassed and got submitted. Mm-hmm. So everyone thinks this fight's going to go to a decision because they're so similar. I think the under 2.5. If you disagree, if you think this fight's going to for sure go to decision, then whichever fighter you like, instead of paying minus 110 on him, you get that fighter by decision at plus 195. So if you don't, if you think this fight could end, bet the under. If you think it's going to go to decision and you like one person, you like one of the guys, then bet them by decision, and they're like a 2-1 dog. They're plus 195.
Yeah. All right, really exciting one here. The start of our main card of the evening, we've got Claudia Godelia versus Yanjon. How'd it go at the weigh-ins for these ladies?
Good. They looked pretty intense. They both look great. Claudia shredded like always. Janin, like with some nice definition on her. And they looked pretty intense. There wasn't any love. There was no love lost, no handshake. We've been saying that Yan by decision is a almost too obvious play. It was plus 136 recently. Now it's plus 100. Like, people are hip to it. Here's the trick. Claudia's gonna win round 1, and she's gonna lose round 2 and round 3. Wait until round 1 ends, and Janin goes from being a minus 150 favorite or whatever. Money's been coming in on her. She was minus 130. Now she's like minus 150, minus 160. After round 1, she's gonna be like plus 300 underdog, and that is one of the safest underdog bets you will ever find. Live bet Janin after round 1.
Yeah, good call there. Another close, tough fight, Brennan Allen and Ian Heinich. The weigh-ins give us any help here?
No, again, we're hoping one of these guys would struggle and make it easy, right? But yeah. Brennan Allen they both made weight just fine. We know that Heinich is, always pretty defined, and, so nothing unexpected there. But Brennan Allen looked a little more defined than previous, so we're expecting fireworks. The line kind of anticipates that Allen would win by points, and I think I honestly it's something of a pass. If you like one of these guys, then their money line is gonna end up being good. We mentioned that they're good value on DFS, but I think it's just a pass overall. There's some unknowns. Heinich at a new camp. Really, if there was ever a pass, I think this is it.
Yeah. All right, our next fight, we've got Hani Barcelos against Khalid Taha. You picked Taha in this one, which would be a devastating upset. You still thinking that, or did the weigh-ins scare you off at all?
I still think that all the reasons why I picked him as an upset are still there. You know, if a fight, I think it's going to go to decision. The line is anticipating Hani to finish him, most likely by submission. You know, we did see Taha get finished by, just get beat on the ground, mounted guillotine previously. And, Hani does have that path to victory. Hani was huge compared to him today. But, Taha's a real fighter. He's a good fighter. He survived against Nad Narimani, who was trying to do the same thing that people think Hani's going to do to him. I think this fight could go to decision. So that's, if a fight's going to go to decision, nobody should be a 4-1, 3-1 dog, right? Like Bobby Green and Moises taught us. So, when we pick this monumental of an underdog, doesn't mean go put a ton of money on him. It just means don't put Barcelos in all your parlays like you think. Like, this fight is going to be so close. I think Barcelos should be like a minus 180, minus 200 favorite in this. I think that Barcelos by decision becomes a really good bet. It's a really steamed line there. I want to say like plus 800. Maybe I'm wrong. Him by submission is plus 170. I think Taha could survive. So, Barcelos should win. I'll stand by the Taha pick. I think Taha has a decent chance to knock him out. But don't go put a bunch of money on Taha and then give me grief.
Very exciting co-main event this evening. We have Andrei Arlovsky versus Tanner Boser. How are they looking at weigh-ins?
They both look good. Boser came in at slightly, I think like 235, just a couple pounds under what he came in last time. So he continues to show improvement. He continues to get in better and better shape. A lot of people are thinking that Boser's going to knock out Arlovsky. But Boser by knockout was plus 330. Now it's like plus 160. I don't know about that. I think that that's a little bit too much. Now Boser by decision starts to feel more and more attractive. Arlovsky has been more and more technical, more and more safe in his recent fights. I think this one could get dragged out to a decision. To me, this just, Boser by knockout at 3-1 odds, that was pretty good. Now at, 1.5 odds, I don't think there's much value on the method for Boser. I think he's a very safe parlay piece. I think just do that, don't get too greedy, and it should be a really exciting fight.
Yeah. All right, let's move into our main event of the evening. We have two former light heavyweight title contenders in this one, Thiago Santos versus Glover Teixeira. Super exciting fight here, obviously. Did the weigh-ins make any difference to how you're thinking?
No, Thiago continues to just get more and more and more swollen. He came in at 205.5. So did Glover, but Glover looked just so shredded. Glover looked shredded like he was like 9 years ago. So it kind of made me feel even better in the Glover underdog pick. We're getting a lot of people asking about the over-under in this fight. It's a 1.5 out of a 15-minute fight. 7.5 minutes out of a 25-minute fight. And people are saying, hey, I like the over. The over is indeed favored now. So like the under 1.5 is plus 108. The over 1.5 is minus 136. I think if you like the over, then you like Glover. I think every minute that goes by in this fight, Glover gets more and more of an advantage. If you like Thiago, I think you like him by KO. I don't think anyone's expecting Thiago to, win a 25-minute decision. He did look great in his last 25-minute fight, but it was against Jon Jones, and there's just everyone looks great in that fight, and terrible at the same time. It's weird, right? But, so I think if you like Santos, pick him by KO. It's minus 140. Santos by round 1 KO is like plus 300. After that, after 7.5 minutes, I think Glover gets more and more likely to finish him in the second, third, or fourth round. That's really, our read is still kind of the same. I think Glover survives that early barrage. Also, in terms of the over, these guys are going to come out technical. Santos' last 2 fights, he didn't come out there throwing spinning kick combos or body kick, hook combos. We talked about it. Against Jan, he came out jabbing and low kicking. Against Jon Jones, same thing. He knows that Glover wants to take him down, so I think we're going to see a pretty technical, reserved Thiago. Glover also doesn't want to go in there and rush and get double underhooks and catch those Travis Brown elbows like Carl Robeson hurt him with, and like Thiago ended Eric Anders with. I think we're going to see a methodical, slow-paced approach. The first round is going to be slow, I think, from both of them. They both need that. And if that happens, I think it favors Glover more and more.
All right, I think that about does it. We did a quick little breakdown there for you for the main card coming up this weekend. Be sure to tune into those fights. Make sure you like and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any future shows. And our next show will probably be covering just a full breakdown of next week's fights. So anything you want to add?
No, thanks so much for your support, and good luck, and enjoy the fights. Message us.
Yeah, thank you guys.